So I set up Miss Menopause over 3 years ago now, because I could see that menopause wasn't being talked about. And really, because of my own lived experience, having gone through the menopause at 47, I'm now nearly 50, there wasn't any information that I could find. So I wasn't intending to set up a business about menopause education. That was, if you'd said to me 3 years ago, Sharon, you're going to be passionately involved with the menopause, I would have said, don't be ridiculous, it's got nothing to do with me. But it was because I was so frustrated that I couldn't find any information about menopause really anywhere. But the statistics are really shocking. It's 100% of reproducing women will go through the life event known as menopause, and you don't really have a statistic like that.
No, we don't.
Any of the well-being topics. So I couldn't understand how it wasn't really being talked about at all. So yeah, so I'm, like I say, I'm on a mission to make this normal in the workplace, because it affects 100% of 50% of the world. I didn't really understand the impact of menopause. So in my absolute ignorance, I thought whatever it was going to happen to somebody else. So you hear about hot flushes and you hear about the menopause, and I guess people, certainly my grandma, when I think about my grandmother, she would refer to it as the change. You'd hear her whispering about the change, and I'd be terrified. I'd be thinking, what on earth are all of our friends changing into? Because all you'd hear was they're going through the change. So I didn't really know what it meant. So from an employer's point of view, if you think you've got mental health and well-being covered in your workplace, and you do it, and there's tons of brilliant things happening, and especially in the last 12 months that's accelerated, if you are not talking about the menopause, then I say to employers, you haven't got mental health and well-being covered. Because for the first time in a woman's life, who might describe themselves as mentally well, because of the power of your hormones, and they're fluctuating and then they're ultimately declining, you've got women who are saying, I feel anxious, I feel stressed, and in the worst cases, they're saying they've got deep depression, where I could be crying about an advert for cat food, which was totally inappropriate, but why would I cry at an advert for cat food? Like, oh my goodness, it's so sad. And then within 60 seconds, want to murder, I feel like I wanted to murder the nearest human. But if, for example, any small reasonable adjustments, they could be as simple as a fan on the desk. It could be as simple as sitting near a window, having access to water. It could be things like looking at, reduced hours. It could be looking at stuff like home working, which obviously most people have done over the last 12 months anyway. Because the thing is, 100% of women won't become mothers, but 100% of women born with reproducing organs will go through the menopause.